And we are back now from our lunch break. Told you it was a quick one. Now, before we go into the Google Startup Pitch Competition, I have Todd Terrazas here from ILA and Fabric AI. Todd, we've known each other for, I feel like, almost a year now, which is like 10 years in AI time.
Yeah.
We go way back.
Way back.
And you are in the startup world, right? Do you want to elaborate a little bit for people that don't know, which honestly, I think everybody knows AILA and knows you. Like, no matter where you go, if you go to NAB or if you go to, I don't know, a conference in Europe, people talk about Todd.
Oh,
so
you're generous. Thank you.
That's true, though. So can you elaborate what AILA does and what Fabric does? And then we kind of go and talk a little bit about startups.
For sure. So I started AILA as like a casual meetup group back in April of 2016. It was when I was starting my first chatbot company, and I wanted to build community around chatbots. And so it was funny because I'm from LA, born and raised, and I would go to San Francisco, and they would have like 2 chatbot meetup groups. And I was like, LA has 0, so I decided I want to create that first chatbot meetup group, so that I could find other founders and other people that really wanted to figure out how to use chatbots in their business. And so I started this meetup group that was called the LA Chatbot Meetup. And then after that, it evolved into this AILA nonprofit back in 2018 because the chatbot boom of 2016 to 2018 was just those 2 years. And most of the startups died. And there were only a few platform plays that were acquired. And so over the last 9 years, I've been building community around in Los Angeles around AI. That's now over 23,000 people, and we are very startup focused. We're very, helping educate people and provide a platform for founders to find other collaborators or customers or just engineers or co-founders and really anything that you want to find in a community, right? And so it's been a real joy the last 9 years to see it evolve over time, and we cover everything from like climate tech to healthcare to aerospace, and of course a lot of creator economy, media, entertainment. And so then that led me to the last 2 years start my other company, my new company, my for-profit, Fabric, FBRC.ai, where we didn't want to take this one bet on building one product, but instead kind of like spread my founding team's like knowledge and experience across a lot of other startups. So we advise early stage startups in the media entertainment space. We have 5 in our cohort. We do a lot of consulting with major studios and production companies to help them get alignment on their AI strategy and their workflow development and product pipeline fit, we call it. So it's like finding the right startups that can actually be leveraged within their pipelines. And then we do like AI filmmaking competitions and hackathons to kind of benchmark where these tools are today. Like we did this last weekend where we did the Cinema Synthetica competition, which was 9 filmmakers were divided up into 3 teams of 3, and they were all given the same script by award-winning screenwriter Bernie Su. And they had 3 films come out of that, and we'll be showcasing that at AI on the Lot next week.
That's amazing. Yeah, you did that last year as well.
Yeah.
So
nice little like time capsule of like where are the AI tools in May of 2024, then May of 2025, and then every year we'll always have that time capsule of like, wow, everyone. Like, we wish we did it maybe next weekend because the VO3 is now out and, all these new tools. And so...
But it's always like that.
Yeah.
It's always like that. Whenever you do something, you wished you would have done it 2 days later, 2 weeks later, because another tool comes out.
It's crazy how fast we're moving. Yeah, I think like Jason Zada talked about it in his talk earlier today, right? It's like... Wow, like I wish they were working on some projects and they had this entire team go back and like re-render everything with the new models. And I feel like people want to do that every week.
Sometimes you have to, and sometimes you just have to ship it and be done with it or be okay with it, right?
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you're connecting startups with established companies to help out. You're also advising startups. You also have startup pitch competitions, or at least you're working with startups, right?
Yeah.
So for this startup pitch competition that's going to happen in some minutes, what do you expect and what makes a good startup pitch for anybody that is out there right now that thinks, I want to create a startup, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Where do I start? What should I do?
I think that some of the best startups are ones where they're solving a problem that is relevant to themselves or someone really close to them. So they're really close to the problem so that they can really get that, feedback loop is a lot shorter. So it's like every time, they're trying to build a little prototype. They're going to give it out to the world and see how people react to it. Then based off that, they're going to get some feedback, and then you're going to constantly reiterate and iterate to make the product better and better, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I think some of the best startups are people solving challenges for themselves or people around them that they love and care for. And so with that, when it comes to pitching, I think it's about storytelling. Everything's about storytelling. And if you can tell a really great story, your audience, whether it's like a potential investor or potential customer or just anyone that wants to be your cheerleader, you need to make it super simple for them to be able to repeat your story and own it, even like make it their own. So you're going to tell a story about the problem you're trying to solve and how you're the best team at the right time with the right resources to go solve this problem. And that's why you're going to have this unfair advantage across anyone else that's going to compete with you. And you want other people to know that story and be able to then repeat it to someone else. And that's the best way to really get, I think, to really help spread the word about your company and get more buy-in from investors. Because if you can't articulate your problem, the problem you're solving and how you're going to solve it clearly, then you're probably going to lose trust with the investors that want to work with you or even potential customers.
It's interesting because when I started out in the film industry, I got the same exact information. It's like, if you pitch your movie, if you pitch your TV show, there has to be a story why you are the best possible person to tell that story.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that in business, it's the same exact thing.
Yeah.
That's the pitch tool. That's the...
Yeah, well, there's there's a million problems to be solved out there in the world, but sometimes you're maybe not the right person to be that, the founder of solving that problem, right?
How do you know that you're the right person or not the right person?
That's a great question. I mean, I can give a story about myself. So my first company, Brain Itch, we were working on emergency response systems for music festivals as a testing ground for smart city applications later. And it's very much a noble cause. We should be developing better emergency response systems in our world. But was I, a non-technical person, went to film school, the best person to actually develop that technology and build the team around it? And when I look back, at the time, of course, I was headstrong and thought, yeah, of course I was. Like, I'm going to make this happen, and we're going to save the world, right? Yeah. But when I look back at it a little bit wiser now, I look like, well, that I could have probably done something different. I could have probably maybe focused my time on something that maybe is more, that I had more experience with. This is why now I'm going into media entertainment and working with AI startups within that space. And so I feel like I found kind of like where I want to focus my attention, which is like more my strong suit. And so I think it's about, even though it is a worthy problem to solve, sometimes you have to make sure that, are you the right founder? Are you the right founder fit for solving that problem? And sometimes it's like a therapy session, right? I'm just like actually like going within and seeing like, even though I feel so passionate about solving this, is this really going to work out with me and my team? Or maybe I decide to pivot and do something that I know actually I have a higher likelihood, higher chance of actually winning.
So you have to balance. Yeah, I feel like you have to balance your ego versus confidence, because you do, as a founder, you have to have a lot of confidence that it's gonna work out, and you have to convince investors to actually invest in your product. And you don't have everything figured out yet, right? That's the part of the game.
You're building the plane while you're flying, you know. And so it's
that's scary.
It's that there's all these analogies of like building the plane while you're flying, or laying down the railroad track as you're driving the train. You're always figuring it out. You're always overconfidence sometimes can blind you from the real truth that you're going down the wrong path or something. And so yes, be confident. Yes, trust in yourself, but sometimes also trust in yourself that maybe this is not the right product, maybe this is not the right direction, maybe this is not the right advisor, maybe this is not the right investor, maybe this is not the right fill in the blank. But sometimes you kind of have to step back to really see, okay, am I just in my tunnel vision and I'm not really seeing all the cracks in the problem, and cracks in like the infrastructure? And I think that's really common. I mean, that definitely was a challenge I had earlier in my career as my first startup, which didn't work out, was that I was just too headstrong that this had to be done and I am the best person to do it, when really, if I really took a step back, I realized actually I was not the right person for that, for solving that challenge. Or also maybe I was just a little bit too early, which also was the case.
Do you feel like you didn't have the people back then to tell you? Like, I feel like now you're in a setup where you have the people around you that will tell you, like the support system that is there for you, and that also kind of helps you sometimes to get you back on track.
Yeah, I mean, mentorship is huge, and I think like sometimes we find ourselves in any situation with a lot of yes people, right? A lot of people that just want to pat you on the back and say, "Go Todd, go Verena, you got this," and we love those people, right? There's nothing wrong
I
with those
don't.
people.
Well,
But sometimes I just want them to like be super like cut me
see,
down, like
yeah,
tell me what's
I'm
wrong
German
with this.
Austrian.
Yeah,
I want the directness.
Yeah.
I want the brutal honesty because that's the most that I can learn from.
Yeah.
And actually pivot if I need to. I don't necessarily need the yes people. I mean, that doesn't mean you hate on me now, but
well, also it's like sometimes it's a
Please,
disservice,
come on.
right?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
the best friends out there are the ones that tell you, "Oh wait, you got something in your teeth," right? Or like whatever it is.
those are
right?
the best friends. And
Yeah.
I'm always in people's corner to do that because if nobody tells you, you go home at night
Yeah.
and you're like, damn it.
This whole time
This
I had
whole
like that
time,
stain up here or whatever.
Nobody
you know?
told me.
Yeah, and so I think the same thing. It's like definitely you need your cheerleaders, definitely you need your support
Yeah.
team, but sometimes you really want to have someone that's just going to cut to the chase and be like, okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about all the problems that you are
Yeah.
neglecting, and how about we really talk about like the boogeyman that's in the closet, you know?
And then you again have to balance your ego because it's sometimes not fun to hear those things,
Yeah.
especially from friends.
And maybe you lose friends because of it, even.
Yeah.
But it's that crazy balance, right? I think
Yeah.
it's the balance that you have no matter what, it's startup life or just in life in general. It's just
Yeah.
like finding that common balance, but then just making sure that you're not just constantly, I guess, going down a path of this one path just because everyone's cheering you on. But like,
Yeah.
find the people that are going to be a little bit negative, you know, like, call
Yeah.
a spade a spade.
I like that. No, we need those people.
Yeah, and so I'm really looking forward to these startup pitches because definitely everyone,
expecting?
no matter what, like the more you do this, the more you pitch, especially in front of a lot of people,
Yeah.
you can get a little nervous, right?
It's scary. It's your baby.
Yeah, and maybe that rehearsal that you did a million times, right? When you get up in
Yeah.
front of stage, you get that stage fright.
Yeah.
And it's scary. And I just think, people used to joke that you just imagine everyone in the crowd naked or whatever, and I just don't think that ever
never
works,
works.
maybe.
No.
But I think that with these type of crowd that we have here today, because I've been hanging out with a lot of great people at this conference, I feel like, wow, like we're gonna have a lot of supportive people, no matter what. Even if you stumble a little bit, you just pick yourself back up, get
Yeah.
through the pitch, answer the questions at the end if there's that Q&A, right? And then you got a lot of friends in the audience that are going to help cheer you on. And I'm just looking forward to seeing what crazy cool ideas are going to be pitched today.
Me too. I feel like sometimes when I'm going on stage, I'm doing like reverse psychology to myself. I'm like, okay, let's pretend I already messed it up. And
Yeah.
now I have a second chance. And now go.
I love
Because then
that.
all of the pressure goes away and I'm like,
Yep.
now I can just play.
Yep.
And that really helps. And then also, something that I feel like we always forget is like the audience wants you to succeed.
Yep.
They're not there and watching you and be like, oh, I want this guy to really fail or this woman to really fail, right? They want you to succeed. And
Yep.
if you know that, and especially the AI community,
Oh, yeah.
we're also, embracing and just being supportive.
Yep.
I feel like you can just win if you show up, you tell your story, and just have fun while you're doing it.
Yeah, if you
Be
show
fun.
that you're having fun and you're confident on that stage,
Yeah.
that will resonate to the investors and to the judges and everyone else that's going to be on the other side.
Yeah.
It's about just showing that confidence and, again, having fun. I mean,
Yeah.
like you're going to spend the rest of your life for the next 10 years, right, hopefully building this startup.
Yes.
Maybe you have an early exit, maybe you don't, maybe you go public, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But, like, if you're not having fun while doing it,
It's not worth it.
it's probably not worth it, right?
Yeah.
It's just too taxing. It's like too many long nights, too many stressful sessions. It's
Yes.
just like, stress can kill, and I feel like you got to have some fun with everything you do,
yeah.
even through the very stressful times. But pitching on stage, to me, yeah, I sometimes even get nervous. I haven't pitched on stage in a while, actually,
Yeah.
but
it comes and goes. You go,
yeah.
you're nervous, you go up, and then at some point it goes away.
yeah.
So we're gonna see 3 pitches. They're gonna be 90 seconds,
Ooh.
which is like an elevator pitch, basically. I'm super excited. And we're gonna go right now to stage. And let us know in the comments which pitch you really love. But please give love to all of them because them being here and pitching is already a big, big win. And we
Yep.
want to be supportive in this community. And hey, if you take a picture, if you take a video of it, hashtag UpscaleConf, post it on social media.
Do it.
Yeah,
We'll see you there.
Let's go.